So if you know React for Web, you know that we have a CLI for web. So we use create React app to create a template with a React web application. So we have the same thing for React Native. So go to Google and type create React and then native and then app. And the first result, it's going to be the documentation of React Native. So if you go there, it's going to say introducing create React Native app. So what you will need to do is to install React Native. And right from the get-go, we have a few prompts. So to install it in your computer, you need to do npm ei for install, then -g, which is global, so we can run this command whatever we want. And then of course we just create a project. Now, what is the problem? The problem is that this CLI works only with the npm 4. So if you have a version of npm 5, it's not going to work. You know, it's not going to really work. You're going to get some prompts. So for example, how do you know what kind of a version you have for npm, for Node Package Manager? You can go to the terminal, and same thing on Windows, just go to the terminal and do npm -v. So if you press enter, it's going to give you the version. So in my computer, I'm running the version 5, so the CLI will not really work. Now, if you have the version 4, you're good to go. You just do npm i -g React Native app, and you know it's gonna install it globally, and then you're ready to go. Then of course you're gonna create a project, but this comes later. So if you're using the version 5, there's two choices. You can downgrade your npm version, which I will not recommend, or you can install Yarn. You can use Yarn to install the CLI and create the packages and everything else. So Yarn is just like a different npm, right? It's the same idea, it's a different Node Package Manager, but from a different vendor. Again, I don't want to downgrade, I want to install Yarn. So the easiest way to install Yarn is through Homebrew. And Homebrew is a different package manager. So I'm gonna go right here and say Homebrew, just like this. So it's gonna take you right here. And of course, this one, it's for Mac, right? Install Homebrew. So right here, it's gonna give you the instructions to install, and I'm gonna change Spanish for English. So install Homebrew. So right here, it will give you the option, or it's gonna tell you how to install it. So select this if you want to install Yarn, which I've already have installed. And you can paste that command, and then you just press enter. I've already have it installed, but I think nothing's gonna happen, so I'm gonna paste it, I'm gonna press enter, and it's gonna try to install. So let's give it a minute. So it's gonna ask you for the password. Mine is that. It's gonna do all the installation. It's gonna take a few minutes. So everything was installed. How can we check that Homebrew was installed? So what we do is pretty much the same thing. I'd go to the terminal. I'm gonna go and say clear, press enter, and then say brew space and -- version. So I press enter, and it's gonna tell me I have the 1.5. So everything was installed. And again, if you're not getting this, you need to restart, you know, but I'm pretty sure that this is gonna work. Okay, so now we have brew, so we need to install Yarn. How can we install Yarn? So I'm gonna say brew space and install. Then I'm gonna do space, and I'm gonna say Yarn, just like this. Now I'm gonna do space again, and I'm gonna install without Node, because we've already have Node. So -- without, just like this, and then space, and then dash, and then Node. So again, Yarn, just like npm comes with Node. So same thing with Yarn. If we install Yarn, it's gonna bring again Node and Yarn. So we are just installing Yarn. All right. So I'm gonna press enter. And okay, right now it gave me a message because I've already have Yarn. But in your case, since you do not have Yarn, it's gonna be good. You know, I could do an upgrade, but I'm gonna do it later. So if you're getting the version that you get with Yarn, if everything was installed, now you can install packages with Yarn. I'm gonna do clear, and then I'm gonna say yarn. Oh, I'm gonna say yarn. Sorry, yarn. And we need to install the React Native tools. So to install things globally with yarn, you just say yarn global space, and then we just add the command, which is create React Native app. So we say add space create dash React Native and then app. I'm gonna install it. Of course, I've already have this package, so it's gonna be really fast. All right, everything was good. So now you're ready to use the create React Native app command, the CLI. But we're gonna do that later. We need to do some other things first. So let's go to the next section.